Most closers would have lost this call, not because it was hard, because it looked easy. It was a $15,000 offer, a sophisticated couple with over $10 million in assets, already solution aware, already wanting to make a commitment. So on paper, it's a layup, but in practice, it's a trap. Because without the pain to leverage and without the urgency to manufacture, the only way to close is to be genuinely better than everyone else on the call and to present the superiority of the mechanism. This is a real review of what it looks like when the rep gets it exactly right. 0 objections, all done in 20 minutes. The skill that sealed it is near the end, and it's worth staying for. So let's go. All right, what's up, Peter? In this video, I'm going to review this call you had with. You mentioned it was of a good standard, so let's see what you did so that we can double down into it.
Just for formality, by the way, I'm Peter. I'm one of the
Nice guru wall, bro.
advisors at the and the calls are also recorded for compliance. So if you're expecting to make $1 million overnight, it's probably not going to be realistic. Is that cool?
That's cool.
You say you're from Dallas, Texas?
Yes, I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Oh, cool. I'm just from Australia myself, if you can't tell by the accent.
I could, you know. I mean, I guessed you might be from Australia, but then when I heard your video.
How's your 2026 treating you so far?
You know what? It was bad. I mean, I don't do much. I don't put a lot of money, but I'm just adjusting it. I kind of, I have around 100K in my account, which I try to trade. So today, I do kind of day trading. Finally, today I am at like almost, I would say, 5-10% profit overall. Maybe 3-4 months.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. And then I guess as well for you too, how long have you been following for now?
Actually, I would say maybe 3-4 months.
Okay, cool. What did you say from him in the last 3 to 4 months that like originally stood out to you?
I mean, whatever he says makes sense. And he's kind of, I mean, honestly, that's my first training, right? I'm listening to such kind of videos the first time. So I felt, everything, whatever he's explaining makes sense,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I attended some pre-sessions, so
Nice.
they
Hello, how are you?
That's my husband.
Hello.
What was your husband's name, sorry? Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I guess for you guys, what are you, I guess, like aside from making more money, because obviously everyone wants to make more money, right? I guess, what are you trying to achieve with your portfolio outcome-wise, do you think?
We are investing in only S&P index funds so far. We are looking for more income because
Yep.
we want to retire and we want to get income out of it.
Cool.
If by doing trading or something else that gives us bigger income.
Right.
Yep. So does that mean we're trying to grow the portfolio and get the income so you can get out of your work? Is that the plan?
Yes.
Okay, cool. What do you guys do for work?
Good way to develop it and then use it to bridge into situation.
We are in IT software.
We are architects.
Oh,
in
cool.
IT. Yeah.
Great to hear. And then I guess overall, the smart engineers, right?
Yeah.
So we are old engineers, so obviously,
Now AI is replacing everybody. Right?
Okay, cool. That makes sense. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then I guess...
Basically, we both have around 25 years, more than 25 years experience in the same company.
Oh, wow. Great to hear.
Yeah.
And then I guess for you guys, in terms of actually like retiring and having an income, just so we can like figure out the numbers together and reverse engineer it, what do we want to get to income-wise, you think?
I mean, around I think I mentioned in one of my questionnaire, 20%,
No, income wise, we want to get 15 to 20K a month minimum.
Yeah.
Cool.
For our lifestyle.
For our
Cool, that makes
lifestyle.
sense. So
Yeah,
what,
like
15?
20K.
So that means we want to have about 180, 200K, right? Now, I know you filled out the form saying you had about over 500K. So I guess how big is the total portfolio roughly?
No, our total portfolio is more than 10 million.
Okay, cool. So you have more than enough then to get obviously the cash flow. So where you're at right now, it's definitely not like a growing type of thing. It's more like wealth preservation and like income. Okay.
Let me tell you as a background. We invested in real estate. Now we're trying to move.
You don't want your cash to be tied up. Okay. Why do you want to? Why not do like a commercial and just do like high yield or something like that for income?
Yeah, we could do the. We are looking into that also.
Okay.
But we want to do stocks and then we want to do like a commercial properties.
Good job. With a moral authority frame like that, you just completely put a sophisticated prospect or someone who's not in a tremendous amount of pain, ironically, at a lot of ease, and then they'll actually explain to you the rationale behind it.
We've been looking for commercial properties, but we didn't find something which is a deal maker.
Yeah, we are in the transition phase right now. Okay, from solid investments like real estate investments that are in like a purely non-income generating, mostly in lands kind of.
Land, house, more growth oriented. Yeah.
Switching to like a income generating like stocks is one thing. And maybe commercial properties that yield good returns.
Yeah, like 4 to 6%.
Just going into cash flow.
And then I guess overall too.
I mean, 4 to 6% on the commercial, we don't want to risk ourselves there, right? Even in money market.
Yeah, well that's the thing. I mean, technically both of them work. It just obviously commercial, your cash is tied up. Theoretically, you make less money than stocks. Theoretically, like numbers wise, if you knew what you were doing. So I guess let's say for example, theoretically,
Good little say up there as well.
you've got the skills. You're doing 20% a year. You're drawing because theoretically you got 10 mil, so you could obviously pull multi 6 figures a year, right? So I guess does that mean you would rather just do the stocks if you knew you had the concept rather than doing commercial, or what would you rather do?
Like we want to diversify.
We don't diversify.
Mostly.
Okay,
like,
cool.
we put some on stocks.
Cool.
Some in commercial property where it gives us cash returns kind of.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That makes sense. And when you say 10 mil, is that like 10 mil in the S&P or is that total everything like valuations of the properties?
Yeah, including some lands.
We have diversified, right? We have lands, we have cash.
Okay, cool. Makes sense. So we want to get
some stocks like a
cool.
Yeah.
Can you roll it over into a Roth?
Not yet. We don't want to do it right now because I don't want to pay taxes. Once I lose my job, I'll find strategies to see how I can slowly roll over to, Roth. But right now, we want to keep it as is because it is not taxable.
Okay, cool, makes sense. So obviously we want to have a structured process and the confidence and the receipts, and then once you have the proof of concept, then you
This is gold standard, yeah.
can liquidate some of the property.
You're just creating a ton of resonance. It's very good. Resonance and connection over their plan. Because it's key with a more sophisticated person. It's not just going to be a cookie cutter 0 to 1. You're in pain. Why not just keep doing it or trying to fix it on your own? It's like it doesn't have the pain, but it just kind of has like the implicit constraint from the fact that the current investments aren't cash flow positive, and that creates a more logical gap. And then what's going to put the nail in the coffin here is the skill gap by getting tangible skills they don't have. All right, quick pause and then we'll get back to the video. If you do over $1 million a year and you want your sales team to scale predictably, I run one-to-one sales management consulting done with you. You can apply at the link. We onboard a few managers each month so you can grab a slot and then we'll install your one-to-one system together. Now back to the video.
And then obviously trade with that. But obviously not all the property. Okay. That makes
You're also coming off as a professional.
total sense. And then I guess as well for you guys, how long have you been managing?
And the call's moving pretty swift as well, which is important because you're being precise.
24 now, roughly?
Forever, right?
Like for 30 years, like we are managing your money for 30 years.
Okay, cool. So just getting started, right? Okay, cool.
No, we are moving into different arena right now, right? Previously we are putting in only index funds like that, mutual funds, and we did some trading, but we got burned. Okay, that's
What happened there?
Like in 2000, the dot-com crash. That's one thing.
Yeah.
And
Maybe you were not born at the time. So.
Okay,
that was like a huge crash. Luckily, we took out majority of the money at the time to buy our house, so we got saved that way in one sense, but we still got burned.
So he doesn't like the trading with no sense. He doesn't like it. Meaning he wants it to be in a proper way.
Like a concrete process. Yeah. Okay, that makes that makes sense.
Not understanding trading is not worthwhile. So that's why we put it, because if you don't understand, just put it in S&P index.
Of course, right? Because if you don't have a strategy, you're basically gambling, right?
Yeah, unless you know something. That's why we want
Again,
to
creating a more deeper psy-up there. It's good he already somewhat believes it, but you're just continually to poke on the narrative that you need a good strategy.
try this trading. Because we like how Felix says.
There's another point. It's happened about 4 times now, and the call is really good. You create a ton of strong narratives and get them to double rationalize the beliefs required to value investing in trading education, right? Which is so important on a trading call.
He has proven techniques, right? Like heartbeat identification. He says check volume, all those, things.
Okay,
Make
cool.
sense. Yeah.
That makes sense. And then I guess overall as well too, right? So you say are you trading right now too? Then like just playing.
So we're trying to move into it now.
We are playing around with it, like not much, right?
Which one?
Like it stops.
I use Fidelity and I do some random.
No, you're playing.
Okay, cool. That makes total sense, right? So we're trying to go from playing around, because that's Felix says, right? Obviously with investing, it can be an expensive hobby or it can be a business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So
You're just
like
cooking the narratives on this call. It's very good.
now with you playing around with it, you don't really have like a concrete process to get 20%.
Yes.
Cool.
No, but not necessarily 20%. Let's say something better than S&P.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So you feel like right now with you playing around with it, you don't really have like a concrete process to get 20%.
Yes. No, but not necessarily 20%. Let's say something better than S&P, right? Like that's what we're. I'll cash it in of 10% or.
Of course, right? Because obviously if you just want 10%, you just put it in that. But obviously we want to have a process where we can do 20, 30%. Because that's the thing you do, right? Because realistically, you could just do the dividend approach by itself, but obviously that takes away the real estate. But if you obviously have a strategy where you're doing 20%, you can draw 10% a year out and keep the other 10% in too, so you get the best of both worlds.
True.
Cooked. See? It's perfect. It's like that there is a summary of both of these points. You're creating a ton of resonance and connection over their plan. You're helping them build clarity and giving a good ton of clarity in a mental model. It's so important with a sophisticated person who just needs they may have had success in something else, but what's going to build that frame is not like them being in a tremendous amount of pain, but you're building a model to fulfill their unfulfilled desire. You're creating a ton of resonance connection. They know you know their plan, what they want, the nuance of it, and you're creating a ton of strong narratives to get them to really believe it.
Okay, that makes total sense. And then I guess as well for you guys, have you ever been out there looking to get any coaching so you could get a concrete process?
Perfect
We
bridge.
want to
get the
So now we're in objection finding. We want to get the coaching, so they're cooked on it, but now it's the elephant in the room type thing. Why haven't we? Without going down their throat.
I'm saying, have you looked or have you gotten any coaching before?
Good, staying in the pocket there, not getting lost, because that's the only objective, really. It's like, great, this is beautiful that we want to get the coaching. They're showing deep solution awareness, but ultimately, it's a bit of a skip step. Well, why haven't they? So good job staying on it instead of a lot of reps going, oh, great, and then just, I don't know, thinking they can go to skill gap. Whereas the objective is to identify the potential constraints behind why they haven't in the past. And if it's like more sophisticated in-market person that just said we want to get coaching, they don't have potentially mindset issues behind it, but there may have been some kind of elephant in the room we need to get out regarding like they haven't resonated. She said it's the first coach she's looked at, right? It could just be that, but at scale, it's probably not going to be. So good job staying in the pocket there.
Well, I'm saying, have you looked or have you gotten any coaching before?
No,
we haven't.
Okay, how long have you been looking for roughly now, you think?
For coaching?
Yeah.
Like recently. Like once we saw the Felix's thing, we thought of getting his coaching because we like his approach.
Okay, so like pretty recently. It hasn't been like you've been looking for like years or anything like that.
No.
Like
With these prospects, a good example, you don't actually really need to like go like, why haven't you? Because the reason we get why haven't you is because we feel they might have aversions and limiting beliefs to getting coaching. But what did they say? They said, we want to get coaching. So like, you know, you can argue, like I said before, that you could probably want to work out why. But if you try to penetrate it a few times, like have you been looking, they just go, yeah, we just found Felix. Then technically you just need to build the skill gap. So if you go, okay, what have you been doing to get the skills? Oh, we just started looking. So you haven't got any skills before? No, but we want to get it. At that point, you can just go, okay, what do you feel like you actually need to have the confidence to go from kind of the research mode to doing mode? And then they can go into the tangible skill gaps, and then you can start building a gap there. Not from like a desire to build a frame on someone with like ego in trading, but more so to get them to see like, you know, even more so what they already believe, which is you need coaching. And then they have their trust in you. Because if they say, we want coaching, right? Like I'll write it here. We want coaching. What does that equal? Like it's solution awareness, right? So what you want to do to move to product aware, right, is to go into skill gap from a frame of like, if you had this, do you need that? How much do you feel like it would help you if you had X or Y? And they're like, oh, that would help so much. And now they get bought in deeper than just coaching on wanting the specific skills, right? Through the skill gap, and then now they're bought in, and that is inherently, the deeper layer is inherently associated with Felix.
But let's say, for example, you're doing 20% year on year consistently.
No.
Like
I mean, we were not into stocks before like this, right? We were not
we
into much.
didn't do coaching.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That makes a lot of sense. And then overall, right? Like, let's say, for example, like I know you guys said you want to get out of your job. Let's say you got the skills and you're confident and you're doing 20%. Will you retire this year?
Well, I know the problem is that right now we don't have choices. You know, our company might, get rid of us.
It could.
But let's say, for example, you're doing 20% year on year consistent. You got the proof of concept and the receipts with stocks. Will you retire earlier rather than having to keep working later?
Yes,
We will.
definitely.
Okay. Cool. Makes sense. Because some people love their job. That's why I asked. You know what I mean? Some people want to work until like 60.
Yeah, but we want to be like as myself. Like I want to work at least something, not sitting at home, not just doing trading.
Good job.
I want to do at least 20 hours a week.
Okay. Cool. So just have the
But
option
like
to cut back.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
doesn't spend the whole week. He only spends on Sundays, right? That's what
Yeah,
he says.
about an hour on a Sunday. Yeah, that's
Right.
it. Yeah, so you're not going to be sitting there for hours reading charts or anything like that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to get engaged in something that's my personal thing. So that's why I want to work until they keep me. Kind of.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. Or AI, right?
I'm sorry.
Or AI takes over your job, right?
Yeah,
Right.
harder, yeah. Like, even if they take over, somebody gives me a job.
You can't help yourself, bro. You fucking love building these narratives. I love it.
Would you even
to keep me active? To keep me active is what.
Would you
If I
even
do
let's-
something?
I get you completely. Let's say if you want to keep yourself busy, let's say you've got the commercial, you're doing the 20% with the stock. Would you even like quit your job and let's say, for example, like work for yourself and just do contract work instead? So
Yeah.
so you can choose your hours. Would that be the best option? You think?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, cool. And like let's say as well, right? You, Felix, and I.
This is a great way of decoupling the job. It's like just again, it just like gets him to get away from the job, think more about trading as a main
We
strategy.
sat down together and we really mapped out what you guys needed.
Okay,
Obviously,
beautiful bridge.
We want to follow
Let's
the
see
money.
how we
like the
go.
volume.
Let's go back. Let's see this bridge into ideal criteria.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, cool. And like let's say as well, right? You and I actually sat down together and we really mapped out what you guys needed. Obviously, we want to follow the money, like the volume. We want to have a concrete process. What else do you think you would really need?
It's a good job there pre-framing like what he already said, so he doesn't say the same shit.
Obviously, we want to follow the money, like the volume. We want to have a concrete process.
It looks like
what
you're
else do
gonna
you think
get
you would really
you're
need?
gonna get like not surface level like negative perspective, but you're just getting the sort of like the top layer.
Obviously, we want to follow the money, like the volume. We want to have a concrete process. What else do you think you would really need from us so you could like confidently get 20%?
Well, if you guys can train us, how to use your tools, and
And if you are going in the wrong direction, it's like,
or if you can give us some direction, weekly or monthly, I don't know how often based on the pricing,
When you say
want-
direction, do you mean like someone like looking over your shoulder, like making sure you're doing the right thing, or how do you mean?
yes.
somebody we can lean on if you have any questions,
Okay, cool.
Again, this is ironically, like not ironically, but funnily enough, like even though you didn't pitch this, by you showing them, you confirm them saying it, they now do believe that's what they're going to get. So it already starts building a ton of conviction in the product awareness level.
When you say direction, do you mean like someone? How do you mean?
Yes.
somebody we can lean on if you have any questions.
Okay, cool.
Right?
Want somebody to
I think,
look
like I
over.
said before, when we were up here, like all we really need to do once we got like a ton of connection and resonance over a more sophisticated person's goals and their plan, you build the right narratives, and then just really I said that we need to make sure we have a ton of skill gap and we're building it good here.
Want somebody to look over our shoulder.
Yes.
Like a support system. Okay, that makes sense. Because really what we're trying to do, right, is we want to actually teach you how to fish. We want to actually help you build like your own internal compass, so when you go out there, you can confidently actually do it on your own for the rest of your investing career. So for that, we usually say it takes you about 12 to 6 months to get you there, depending on how much time you think you can put in. Now, as a disclaimer, we say as a minimum requirement, you have to put in at least 2 to 3 hours a week to start. And then once you're really sufficient, 1 to 2 hours a week tops. Would that be manageable?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay, cool. So not a conversation killer?
No.
Okay, cool.
But if you didn't do the call like this, a lot of people would watch this call and be like, oh man, these people are like already good to go. But they are potentially there if you have a great call. But I know a lot of closers that would just fucking try to run this call like they're speaking to an unsophisticated person, and they're like, there's just the conviction isn't there. But there's so much conviction in your ability to develop their goals. It's so good for that reason.
Yes.
Like a support system. Okay, that makes sense.
Cool, just building more connection over the skill gap. Like, it's not so much a skill gap in this case, it's just ideal criteria, you know? So, like, because they don't really have, like, a ton of context over the skills. So if you had said, let's just do this, just see if what we were doing would work for you, what do you feel like you need? And they said, we need someone, blah, 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 to look over our shoulder. You could have gone, okay, just so I know where you guys are at, because you do have some experience trading. When it comes to X, do you know how to Y so you can Z? You could have done 1 or 2 of those, but at the end of the day, you still would have achieved the same level of achievement of the objective for what you did here. And it may have just bamboozled them or just really not benefited. So good job just like running it lean with people that don't have experience in this case.
We have some plans like that too.
Sure. And like, let's say as well, before I share my screen and show you how it works and how we can help you, I guess let's say you could retire. What are you going to do with the time?
Little tiny future pace, nice.
Well, I want to exercise. I have a few things I want to do,
Beautiful.
I mean, right now still working, and that is not guaranteed that we're going to work forever, or it can be 1 month, 1 year, 2 years.
Of course. But then you can do development if you want, right?
Yeah, real estate
development.
Okay, cool. That makes sense.
That's one of the other
options. Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'll share my screen for you and show you.
Cool. We'll hit the pitch. I'm just going to pause. Good job as well. Through here, I can see you making the presentation a dialogue between the two of you, not a monologue. This is very important. Just thought I'd mention that, but we'll get to post-pitch. Okay, great.
Yeah. Do you think that could be what you're looking for?
Yes.
I'll say, what parts do you think would actually help you the most?
Like training on how to pick the stocks and when to buy and when to sell it.
The entry point, the exit point, the risk management.
So the whole lot, basically.
Yeah,
right. All the habits.
Right, the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty important, right? Because what most people do is they go out there, they might figure out 1 or 2 on their own, but you need like all 7 of them to actually be good. Now, this...
Good job. Mini little old way, old result, new way, new result.
I'll actually show you what the portal looks like as well. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Let's go to the close.
Now, if you want to do the 6 months, you're looking at 10,000 US, and if you want to do 12 months, you're looking at 15,000 US, and then both programs have the money back guarantee.
Yeah, we're more interested in the 1 year program.
1 year program, but one question, right? So we both can have access to it. How does that work?
Of course, we're not going to charge you twice. That'd be ridiculous.
That's what I'm
Yeah, imagine. Felix would make a fortune. I'm kidding. Oh,
like, how does this coaches thing work? Like that's one question. Like, do we get to talk? You said you can talk to them twice a week, or?
Yeah. So imagine, for example, so what we do when you start with us, we do an onboarding call. So we show you where to start, where not to start, and we book your first assessment call. And then what happens is, if you guys are very like structure driven, I personally am, you can ask if you can pencil in 2 times every week, or you can do them back to back for the full hour if you want. And then basically you'll hop on a Zoom call like you and I are having now, and then what they'll do is they'll do an assessment call, and then every week you'll go through different topics. So let's say today we'll do technicals, so we'll do the technicals, and then we'll say, cool, here's your homework, come back next week. This week we'll do risk management, here's some examples, come back next week, until we tick all the boxes off piece by piece.
Okay, once the education is done, suppose say in a few months, like what is
realistically, you'll finish the education in 30 days.
Okay, then after that, how
and then you'll be paper trading, and then once you're doing the practicing of the paper trading and the stock picking, so once you know when to buy, when to sell, and how to find the stocks too, and when the money goes, you then do the paper trading for 30 days, and then we review all of your trades you do, why'd you pick the stock, why'd you buy there, and then once we have the receipts that you're doing very well, and then obviously we're going to cool, theoretically with the paper trading, you would have made 5% this month. So now we're clearly good to go, and now we can start using real money. That's what you would do. And then even when you're using your real money, we still review it every week.
Okay. With the coaches or
every single week we review your trades, your portfolio, and your performance. Yeah, and they also answer all your questions. So for example, if you're saying I'm struggling with this, they just go over it with you. But yeah, but it's very like to be honest, you don't really need to think. It's pretty much laid out for you. You just need to show up and just learn.
Have a formula. Okay.
Yeah, you just need to basically say, cool, we want to do this, and then basically they're like, cool, this is how we do that, and then we'll just do it piece by piece. Yeah, super simple. Cool.
And so once we are trying, we are experimenting, we are practicing, right? So we still have a meeting with the coach, or how does it work?
Even while you're learning. So the reason we do the one-on-ones while you're learning too is because we take education to execution. So for example, you might learn something, but you might still be a little bit hesitant, but obviously it just helps someone to give you the reassurance like that's right. You know what I mean? And then also make sure you can learn a lot faster too.
Yeah, like what I'm trying to distinguish is once your education is done, what kind of support we get, kind of, which is.
So you get the 2 sessions a week when you learn, and then when you learn, you do the practicing, and when you do the practicing, you do the real trading. You still get the same sessions every week for 12 months.
No.
For 12 months, 2 times a week.
Oh yeah, 2 sessions a week for 12 months. Yeah.
Okay.
The whole time.
2 sessions, right?
So they'll you can message them and they can help you. Whatever.
And if you want, you can either book 2 different times, or you can book 1 day and do an hour slot if you want. It's up to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. You don't need to think about the coach. We pick them for you.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
Yeah, but then because at the start it won't really matter who you're with because you'll be learning the strategy, and then once you've learned the strategy and you're good, then you can go through all the coaches' resumes and you can start plucking out the 1%ers based on their experience. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the first 1 month, you're going to give us a coach. You're going to assign a coach.
Yep. So from day one, you get a coach. Yep.
Do I pick or you assign?
Oh no, we pick for you from day one. But once you're good, then you can pick other coaches. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Sweet. So what the next steps will look like are super simple. From this point onwards, we figure out the tuition and we do your onboarding.
There's just so much conviction in this call, right? And like just so much conviction and certainty over the specialized knowledge. It's not just like knowing the program like you did there, but you have, this is why I can't believe that a lot of the industry, the gurus say that like the rep doesn't need to know much. If they have so much conviction in the model, in how the product works, as it relates to the customer, because the customer here clearly wants the support. They wanted so much certainty of it, like after the education, do we get like really, really specific about it? The fact you have great specialized knowledge, you understand the market, the industry. I saw in your presentation, you had great dialogue bouncing straight back off their question with tons of conviction. This is just like basically a perfect call with a more sophisticated, not in market as a trader, but someone who's going from good to great for the end goal, which is like financial freedom, right? They need to see superiority of the mechanism. You have done that. And the mechanism is superior from two angles. One, it's in and of itself, which you've done through your specialized knowledge, but two, as it fits to them. So this is why it was so important that you had such a great call upstream, creating a ton of resonance connection over their plan and really leading the fuck out of this call. Then creating a ton of narratives they already sort of believe, but you made them a bit more profound through just like a little bit better languaged, which was great. And then you built the skill gap, ideal criteria as we've built out in the process. It's looking really solid now. And then the whole thing is driven through a ton of conviction. There's really no weakness in the call.
And obviously not having to just...
Right.
Awesome.
And one question, right? So the app, the app where the tools are and everything, right?
Cool. And this is just tying down specialized knowledge again, which just goes to prove you need to know it, which is great. Cool. And then they just sorted the payment out. No doubt. Objectionless close. That was great, man. It was really, really good. There's nothing to really pick on. You almost go so ham with the narratives, but I love it. It's good because you do it like appropriately. Like it's once you've got connection and resonance over the plan. You started seeding this in a couple minutes in once you had some connection, which is great. The whole point of this call was just literally step one, connect over their plan. You're going to build rapport, not over buddy, but over your ability to understand the nuances of their situation, right? And speak to them about it. That's so important with sophisticated. Then you start seeding in, not on the nose, but a ton of little narratives when they come up, to get the prospect to double rationalize the beliefs required to end up wanting to invest in coaching, which is great, right? From there, once you've achieved those two objectives, then you move to ideal criteria, which is perfect because you've now got someone that trusts you, that believes in the beliefs sort of required. And now it's just going, okay, you're solution aware. Let's get you bought in on before we even pitch. Ideal criteria. Then the pitch was a dialogue, not a monologue, with a ton of conviction. And then post-pitch, you tied a lot of things down with certainty over specialized knowledge. And that's why it was an objectionless close. So, you know, a lot of sales reps would not have been able to take this call as well as you did, despite the fact that prospects seemed like they had a lot of potential to sort of almost close themselves. But you really got them to close on this call. I think a lot of closers would have probably got a follow-up and really made the sale through his content. But you really did a good job to really cook this call, man. So well done. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video valuable. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I check every single one. And if you're someone who wants speed and real implementation, whether you're a founder, a sales manager, or even a closer who wants to level up, there's links in the description where you can book a call and apply to actually work with me directly. And if you want to keep learning, here's the next video I recommend. You can watch it now.